Welcome back to another episode of Naija Football Talk. Away from club action and now to our favorite Super Eagles. Here with me is Bolu today, but Bolu, you're not wearing a touch of green today.
Unfortunately not.
All right, that's good. So in about a week from now, we'll be seeing the Super Eagles take on Lesotho and then Zimbabwe a few days after in their World Cup qualifiers race. We're not going to talk much on that because we and Bolu, in our previous episode, we've predicted severally that we feel that the Super Eagles will dispatch those guys without, any force, and we're hoping that will play out correctly. But today, we are going on to matters off the pitch. We talk about all the action on the pitch, but a lot of the pitch affects the Super Eagles as well. And today we are dwelling on the issue of the leadership in the Super Eagles squad, or rather the lack of it, if that is the case. So Bolu, let's talk quickly about leadership in the Super Eagles squad. Over recent time, we used to see when Super Eagles, you could point at 2 or 3 players. You say maybe once upon a time we had Yobo, and you look at Yobo as, he's the undisputed, leader in this team. We've had players like that, but in the current crop of players, we have quality players, very skilled, but you can't really point at, players that you can say, this guy has leadership acumen. Most of the so-called leaders, in quotes, is mainly because of their age and their experience. So who do you think is the best candidate for a captaincy right now? Fans are saying, Kenneth Omeru is the best option, but do you agree with that?
Well, in terms of longevity, Kenneth Omeru is the most senior player. But in terms of leadership, Trust Ekong has been the vice captain for many years. He was a standing whilst Ahmed Musa's international career was winding down. So that is between the both of them. They could also have a similar arrangement where Omeru is the team captain, Ekong is Omeru is the captain of the actual national team, and then Ekong is the captain whenever on match day. But it doesn't really matter. It's about having a group of, especially in international football, it's about having a group of leaders, knowing, okay, these are 3, 4, 5 players that are our captains, and whoever is starting, whoever is on the pitch at certain times, these are the captains. But I would like to single out a number of players I think belong to that group. We have Omeru, we have Ekong, we have someone like Moses Simon, who has captained a number of times now. We have Ndidi, and then we have someone like Iheanacho, who has been there for a while. I would also mention unofficial captains, like people like Iwobi, who has been around for a while. People like Osimhen, who is an unceremonious captain as well. He's a leader in the way he plays, in the way he carries himself around the dressing room. And Osimhen is the kind of player that doesn't take nonsense from anybody. So I'm very sure behind the scenes, if any player is not doing well in training or whatever, he will be there to tell them and let them know to raise the level. Iwobi is also that kind of guy that is probably not the most vocal person, but the way he plays, the way he comports himself, the way he's professional, he's also a leader. So I think those 5-6 names are like the players who are candidates to be leaders in the dressing room. So but the first 4 are actually the captains. The group of captains that we should be looking to take into the AFCON next year.
Okay, fair point, Bolu. I sort of share, the same opinions. And speaking of leaders, Ahmed Musa has been, the leader for the Super Eagles, for a while now. But going by the recent squad list, it's obvious that we are more or less moving on from the governor, as he's fondly called. So just quickly, how would you rate his time as captain of the Super Eagles?
Well, he had success. Ahmed Musa is one of the most decorated players, for the Super Eagles in recent years. He's our top goal scorer in the World Cup, most caps. So, such longevity, such sacrifice and loyalty to the national team.
Also played in the NPFL.
Yeah, also came back to play in the NPFL. So he's a flag bearer. He's a bona fide Nigerian footballer, and he would always be remembered and appreciated for his exploits. But it was time to move on. It was getting to the point where it was becoming a bit sour. We were getting a player who was always getting called up, but never really played or never really added anything. On the pitch. So it was good that we're finally moving on, and I'm just looking forward to how we can evolve from this, how we can now the Super Eagles have a new identity as a young team, talented team, and we need to carry on that. We need to have a leader that can transcend the past generations as well as this current crop of players and help us move forward.
Okay, so let me just narrow down on a final note, let me narrow down the captaincy question. You mentioned a group of four names that are like, the standout leadership group, so to say. But when you consider that you would want a captain that is always playing, and when you look at the way things are progressing, Ekong is not really, it's not really a starter anymore. The famous Oyibo wall it has been broken down. So when you consider all starting options and with players that will likely be in the starting lineup, who do you think should be the captain? With someone that will likely be a starter.
It will have to be between Ndidi and Moses Simon. And for that, I think Ndidi, he's based on the position he plays in the team and the responsibilities on the pitch. I think Ndidi is the best candidate for that. Moses Simon is also a good shout. He's probably our attacking leader at the moment. He's the one that tries to make things happen in the attack with his dribbling and all that, even though it doesn't always come off, to be honest. But he can commend him for the fact that he always tries, he always gives his all. But I think Ndidi should be the main team captain because he would most likely always play 90 minutes. The position he plays, he can always communicate with the defense, the goalkeeper, as well as the forward. So I think his position is very crucial in the team. And now, based on his age and Ndidi is in that moment where he really can handle the captaincy responsibilities for the Super Eagles.
Okay, yeah. So the only talking point about Ndidi is that fans have said that, Ndidi plays well for club and for Nigeria he plays below par. But yeah, just like Bolu said, I think Ndidi is also a good shout for the captaincy, and we'll see what Jose Peseiro does about that. But just a quick topic as well, we are seeing the MPFL booming all of a sudden, and it is down to players like ex-players like Kanu Nwankwo, since he was appointed as the head of Enyimba. He has taken the club to, they've signed a sponsorship deal with Stake, and now they've also announced the Man of the Match Day partnership with Infinix as well, leading rise to the conversation that should the legends of the Super Eagles be involved more in the national team. When we come back from this break, we'll talk into that topic. Welcome back to Naija Football Talk. It's been an interesting discussion with Bolu so far about the Super Eagles. If you're new, please make sure to hit the subscribe button for more Super Eagles content. And for our existing viewers, make sure to join the conversation and tell us what you think so far about all we've discussed. So back and right into the action, we're talking about Super Eagles legends and their involvement or lack of it in the NFF at large. So we've seen let's go to other African countries. We see what Eto is doing with Fecafoot. We see what Joba is doing as well for Ivory Coast. And but for the Super Eagles, it seems like there's this radio silence. You only see ex-players, going into MPFL and other stuff like that. But on the NFF front, they've been pretty, out of it. The only crop of ex-players we've seen are the likes of, Eguavon, we see all those same old guys once again, but the likes of Kanu, Finidi George and co. Finidi George is the coach of Enyimba, but I mean, people have said that this guy can also do a job with the Super Eagles, but who knows? So what's your take on that opinion?
It's just a very sad reality of where our football administration is, where it is more political than your qualifications as a football administrator or as a football person. And sadly, that's just where we are. I'm someone who has always clamored for a number of years for Sheye Olofinjana in particular, because he's well qualified. He's well qualified as a football administrator. He's up to UEFA qualifications, and he's someone who is just perfect for a role in the Super Eagles. He played for Nigeria very recently, within about 12 to 15 years ago. So he has the understanding of what is required on the pitch, and he also now has qualifications upstairs in the back room, knowing how to plan, knowing how to get a system in order, a project in order for football administration. But it's just very sad that these guys can never get those opportunities. We've never even had a situation where he's contesting for presidency of the NFF, or he's amongst the conversation. It's just unfortunate.
There's also Utaka and Yobo as well.
Yeah, Yobo has served as an assistant coach, but they just don't get close enough. Even the ones who are there, you feel like there should always be rotation, there should always be competition. So you know that, okay, we're always going to have a role for a legend or two in the backroom staff, but we can make it competitive. We can be rotating. It doesn't have to be the same guys that were there before that should become caretaker coach and then go back to their role as technical director. No, it doesn't make sense that way. Let it be competitive. Let it be open to all and equal opportunities. That's when we can really make progress as a football nation, and we can really see things working in our football generally, not just the Super Eagles, but from the grassroots level.
Yeah, quick one. Yeah, so take away the corruption scandal that Eto has recently been linked with as president of FECAFOOT. Cameroon football has actually done way better, both locally and on the continent. Yeah, international on the continent as well since Eto took over. Do you think the Super Eagles can also benefit if we take a similar approach from someone, maybe like you said, maybe Lonfijana, Kanu, Okocha, or someone?
Well, we would see improvement for sure, but would they? I mean, the way Nigerian football is designed, there will be external forces that will frustrate you. There'll be government forces that would have different agendas that would want to go against you. They want to frustrate your efforts, really, and it's just very sad the system that we're in that doesn't it doesn't reward. I mean, people on merits. It's based on who you know or what you know.
Yeah.
It should be on what can you do for us. How can you help us in a period of, is it 4 years, is it 5 years or 6 years, which is the way it should be. And we've seen Kanu now at the Enyimba, just within a short period of time, we can see improvements. Finidi George has been Enyimba coach for about 2 years now, but he has made progress. He has been assistant coach for the Super Eagles. He has also won the FA Cup with Enyimba as well. So, I mean, if you put them there, they would definitely work, they would improve, they would make progress, but where are the opportunities? That's the question.
Yeah, and just on a final note, Bolu, who is the most likely to be a Super Eagles coach in the nearest future from the most recent crop of ex-players?
That's a very, very, very difficult question.
In your opinion, I mean, it's
Super Eagles coach. Well, I could make a guess on who would be involved with Nigerian football in some way, either from the technical level, boardroom level. Maybe Ahmed Musa. I think he will be involved in some way. Maybe on the political level of NFF presidency, or maybe even political level of Nigeria as a whole. I'm not very sure, but I think someone like Ahmed Musa will be involved. He will definitely get an opportunity somewhere to, you know, put his knowledge to use. Someone else who I could guess. Okay, Yobo has worked as assistant coach. Maybe someone like Omeru as well, based on his longevity. I think he could also be given an opportunity to do something with the national team.
Yeah, and it was an interesting discussion talking about Super Eagles matters off the pitch. It's not outlandish to say Ahmed Musa can actually be involved, you know, at some point in the future. There's a reason he's called the governor. He's very well loved among fans and players alike. So it won't be strange to see him, you know, get a role. And who knows if that will just happen. And for the captaincy claim, I mean, it's still a difficult question, but like Ndidi is looking like a good candidate, you know, to lead the Super Eagles as we go into the World Cup qualifiers and ahead of another continental competition. Don't forget to join the conversation on all our social media platforms showing right there on your screen. Join the conversation below. Who should be the Super Eagles captain, and should we get the legends and the ex-players involved more in our national football? Join the conversation below. Let's hear from you. Let's know your thoughts. Until we see you same time next week. Bye for now.